I'm Ron Jess for Jessfor30, and I have a good friend of mine here today, and we've known each other for a long time. Went to St. Agatha together in Redford Township. He's a well-known dentist in Michigan and all over the country, he's just a great guy, Tim Kosinski.
Hey, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, good to see you, Tim.
We've known each other way too long.
Yeah, since we were 6?
Yeah, probably. Third grade. I started third grade.
Oh, okay. I went there in first grade.
Yeah.
For Sister Edith Marie. She used to whack our knuckles, so maybe me more than you, Tim. But those are fun days. Where were you born, Tim?
Dearborn. Yeah, I was born Dearborn. You know, I'm first generation. My mom, dad, my brother and sister were all born in Poland.
Oh.
So I was the baby of the family, and yeah, raised in Detroit until we moved out to the suburbs and started in St. Agatha.
Yeah, most of the Jesses were born in Highland Park.
Okay.
That's where we were born. Most of it, so the younger 2 out of the 8 were Southfield.
Okay.
But what'd your mom and dad do for a living?
Yeah, my dad was a carpenter.
I was going to say carpenter.
Yeah, he was a carpenter, so kind of followed in his paths. Being a dentist, our tools are almost identical, just ours are a little bit smaller.
Uh-huh.
And my mom was just a hardworking lady. She worked at the plant on the lines, crunchy potato chips, if you will, way back.
Yeah.
And then
my dad worked at Stroh Brewery for 17 years.
Yeah, that'll give a lot of history here.
That's part of our gene pool.
Yeah, and then she ended up at Pepsi and then retired out of Pepsi.
Oh, did she really? Yeah.
Later in life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was great. We really grew up, I think, I'm going to say, nobody in this country really was able to grow up in a time like we did, where we Irish, my dad was Scotch, we had some German, the Scherharts are part of our family, Lobsinger, he was on the city council in Detroit. But when we went to St. Agatha, the Polish, the Irish, the German, it was a pretty good melting pot.
It was, sure was.
Wasn't it?
It was good people.
Great people. We had 8 kids, and you had...
well, my brother's 10 years older, so I was kind of all by myself by the time. He was in Vietnam when I was 8.
He went to Vietnam?
Yeah.
How did he make it out okay?
Yep.
Oh, did he?
He was a carpenter also. George was a carpenter. He passed 3 years ago, unfortunately. I miss him. Miss him a lot.
So he was about 73 when he died.
Yeah.
What, you had told me your dad was a carpenter, and we just talked about all the implants you've done. Tim, how many is it?
Over 18,000.
18,000. And I thought it was funny. I only get a minute to talk to you when I get in, because we'll get to that story in a minute. But we don't get a lot of time to talk, but I remember asking you, and I guess I did remember you told me your dad was a carpenter. And the other thing you told me was that it was great because when you got into implant, was he your first person you ever did an
That's funny,
implant?
remember that. My dad, when I did, after graduation, my wife and I moved down, Barbara moved down to Dayton, Ohio. We just got married. So I did my residency. And we were fortunate enough to come back home and worked with one of the pioneers in implant dentistry, Paul Mentag. So I was very, very blessed to have him take me under his wing. He taught me a lot. He was a great mentor. And way back when, my dad was my actual first physical surgical placement of an implant. Now, my mom was a lot smarter. She waited about 15 years before she let me work on her. But yeah, my dad was one of my first ones. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because when I was in Ohio, we lived down there. Radiokeratotomy had just come around, and what happened with that was that's where they actually cut your eyes. It was before LASIK. And my family was telling me, do not have that done. It started in Russia, where it was on 60 Minutes. There was a car accident, and a guy's eyes got cut, remember? And all of a sudden he could see. So I said, nope, I'm tired of contacts, I'm tired of this. And I had a guy, he actually cut that radiokeratotomy before LASIK. It was, you know, I was 25, so 40 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
And it worked out well.
Implants have changed so much, Ron. I've been there since. Our modern implants came to the United States in 1982, so I've been doing implants since 1984. So I was there in the very inception, and it's changed so much. Just like what your story was, it was a 2.5 hour procedure to put in one implant. Now it's 15 minutes.
Is it?
Yeah. So, well, you know.
Well, we'll get to that story.
Yeah.
So, I wanted to look at best memories of yours from St. Agatha, and Michelle and I wrote this down last night. We always do a day before. Yeah. She said, "What was yours?" And I said, "Hot dog lunches." Remember?
Well, if you want me to be honest with you, I will be honest here today.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw a name out there. I won't mention the last name. But I was talking to a friend's daughter who's 14. And I was telling her that, boys are bad, and girls have all the power. And she was starting 6th grade. And my favorite grade was 6th grade, Miss Nedwicki.
I swear to God, my next question, did we talk?
Absolutely not.
This is like, so I said, here number 4 is, do you remember Miss Nedwicki? I said, in my 12 years at St. Agatha, 1st to 12th, her class was my favorite ever because it was every day we got a chapter from Lord of the Flies.
Yep. And we got to read Mad Magazine at the end of the day if we were good.
Oh, did we?
Yep.
Do you remember Do you remember the Lord of the Flies?
Sure.
I only look forward to that day. I was once to go and.
That's funny.
That was a great book.
But hot dog lunches were brand new.
Yeah.
And Mary Ellen, I won't mention her last name. She would give me a cupcake. Kind of sneak me a cupcake on my birthday with a candle on it.
Oh, nice.
It's funny what you remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really strange. So our family liked Mamma Mia's. Did you guys?
I did. I obviously know Mamma Mia's, of course, but I know a lot of you still go there.
Yeah, we do.
I haven't been there in a long time.
Oh, really? Yeah.
When Barbara and I moved back home, we lived in Redford, off of Jerome. So. We lived there for 10 years.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a great neighborhood.
We lived at 9 and Berg, on Berg Road. Yeah.
So good times.
So the next thing was how we reconnected. How did you and I get back together after all those years?
You came in as a patient.
I called you.
Yep.
I was in Southfield, not too far from your Birmingham office, probably 5-10 minutes away. So I called Tim on the phone and I said, Tim, between all these crowns and bridges, it's costing me $5,000 every couple of years because they fail. I'm not mentioning dentists either, but they were out on M59 in Heartland, I'll say that. That's all and there's so many there that they could get confusing. But I get tired of spending $3,000 to $5,000 every few years. So I found this guy in Southfield, and Tim knows the science behind it. There's 2 implants I think they put in, and then you have a full denture. Yeah. And I called Tim and I said, hey, I'm going to have all my teeth pulled and have this procedure done.
Yep.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. And I said, Ron, do you not like the way your teeth look? And you said, no, they're fine. It's the way I've been my whole life. You were missing some teeth.
Yeah.
You had some teeth that needed work.
Yeah.
But the rest of your teeth were healthy. And in my opinion, there's nothing better than our God-given teeth.
Yeah.
And so taking good teeth out, I've been doing this a long time, almost 39 years.
Yeah.
I see what happens down the road that very few can. My brother used to call it puffing. A lot of dentistry is puffing, or a lot of
what does that
business.
mean?
Promoting yourself without really knowing exactly what you're doing because it's the hot thing to do.
Okay.
And I've always been a big believer in saving teeth. And so I said, you're missing some things. Let's fix the parts that are bothering you. We can always make things pretty. We can make them white. We can make them straight. We can do that with conventional dentistry. But to take all your teeth out, where 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you have issues, then what are you going to do? So it becomes a quality of life issue. So my thought is, if you can save teeth, save teeth.
Yeah.
We can't. You know,
right.
And trust is really important.
Yeah.
You know? It's not about what things cost or how much I make. It's doing the right thing.
Well, I used to go to Dr. Zala on Grand River near Beach Road.
Okay.
That was our Jess family.
Yeah.
Next to Stanley Drugs and Top Hat.
Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
right. Dr. Zala was in there. And, you know, going from him as a kid, and that was not painless dentistry like yours is pretty darn good. In fact, Michelle commented last night, she said, it's amazing. Tim has real painless dentistry, and it's great. But, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is I really appreciate it. And I've told everybody that, you know, coming to you was the best thing I ever did as far as a dentist. And we were classmates together all those years. And so now my son was with you today. Yep. My daughter-in-law Maggie comes, Michelle comes, and some friends. I think some friends have showed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I recommend.
Well, that's how you build. You build through trust and confidence. And dentist, it's a really good time to be a dentist. Technology is so awesome.
Yeah.
Everything is CAD/CAM design. I know exactly what we're going to do before we ever touch you. I virtually place the implants, design the final teeth before we ever touch you. It's a fun time to be a dentist.
That's amazing, because I had we were at the Brighton Bar and Grill a couple weeks ago with my daughter Christy, and she's with Medtronics. And what do they call it? Virtual? Is it IR? Is that the name?
AI, artificial intelligence.
AI. She said that she's in spinal with Medtronic. She used to go to surgery. Yeah. Now she's in a management position with them and out of her home. And yeah, it's
unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We're doing virtual facial recognition. We can actually put the teeth in your face. It's going so fast.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep up, but it's awesome. And I'm an educator, so I'm very fortunate. I get to see the newest and best things out there.
Well, you are an editor for 3 magazines, dental magazines. What are they, Tim?
I'm the editor of the Academy of General Dentistry, which is the second largest dental organization in the country. We have a scientific journal and a magazine that comes out monthly. And then Dentistry Today is the largest read dental magazine. Every dentist gets it. And I am the editor of their implant division. So I do a lot of writing. I think I've written like 60 editorials in the last couple of years, published a lot. That's what I do. It's just part of my DNA.
Yeah, but you're traveling a lot too. Every time you're either in Pensacola, Orlando, in California somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. Where do you go out there? Los Angeles?
Newport Beach. Okay. You know, I'm on the road 27 weekends. You know, I like to say, people say I work really hard. I really don't. I have a good balance. We work very hard in the office. I have a great team, as you know. My team is, my daughter runs the practice, Jessica. So I don't have to worry about the business part of the practice. And then I was telling you earlier, I was blessed with great mentors early in my career. People that took me places where I didn't belong, taught me things that people don't share anymore like they used to. And so it's really, I'm very fortunate to be able to give back to the profession at this time of my life. So, as I said, the travel is a nightmare. The flying, getting to the airport, sitting, waiting. When I have my book, my iPad, my phone, I just don't get upset like everybody else does at the airport. But once I'm on, it's a switch, and you're able to. This weekend, I'm in Newport Beach, starting a major symposium. I just talked before you guys came. One of the managers called and said it was sold out. So we'll have 250 doctors there.
Nice.
And I'll begin the program, and then we teach doctors how to do it with models, so they actually get to work on the equipment and the tools that we use.
And you've trained trained 8,000?
A little over 8,000 dentists in my career.
Think about that.
That's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it was at you started at U of D.
Well, I was an instructor at U of D, and I'm a adjunct clinical professor. So I give guest lectures once in a while. I give back to my school. Yes. My University of Detroit means a lot to me. It's a great dental school. But now, I travel. I do most of the big meetings, and it's not, you meet a lot of nice people.
Yeah.
made a lot of friends over the years that you may only see once a year, maybe once every few years.
Yeah.
But they touch your lives, and just like you and I mean, we reconnected after so many years.
We went 12 years to school together, and we had 100 in our class. And you and I know I had been to your house. Had you ever been to our house?
I don't think so.
We had
maybe a party, maybe at a...
Yeah, we had a few of those.
Yeah.
But it's just really strange how that could possibly happen. We could be there for 12 years and really not, this is the most we've sat down and talked in our life.
Right, yeah,
which is pretty cool, actually.
It's actually pretty cool.
Very cool.
Right.
So you'd go to Pensacola. I know a lot of Tim's work is Pensacola, and he knows that area and teaches down there. I was down there for Traris. I'm a manufacturer's rep, and Marlin. I was down for them, and I was working at some of the big steel companies in Mobile, Alabama.
Yeah, sure.
Huge.
Yeah.
The biggest in the United States, biggest in North America. So I'd go there and I'd make sales calls, and I came home, and one night I'm staying at the Pensacola Holiday Inn Beach Resort. You been there?
No.
That's nice. It's right on the ocean. Yeah. They got a Lazy Susan, and it's a fun place. So I come out, and I had been out late,
You know, that's not the ocean. They don't call that the ocean there.
It's the Gulf.
The Gulf, yeah.
Well, you know.
Or the Bay, yeah.
What the
Depends
hell?
what side you're on. I know. I get corrected all the time. That's not the ocean.
See, he was the studious one. I knew that. But, so I'm hanging out, and I come out, and I got like this on, right? I got a jersey. It's cool in the morning. I got up early because I had to drive to Mobile from Pensacola, and that's an hour and a half each way. So I walk outside, and there's a guy sitting out there, and he's standing out there, and he's got actually a Michigan hat on. And I look at him, and I've got my Michigan, and naturally I go, "Hey, how you doing?" And he reaches over, he shakes my hand, and he says, "Hey, how are you? I'm Chip Davis." I said, "Yeah, that's cool. I'm Ron Jess." I don't know who the hell Chip Davis. I couldn't. Good for you. So this is hilarious. So I'm talking to him. All of a sudden, a big steak truck pulls up, and wham! They open it up, and I'm looking at this instrumentation. I mean, it is pristine, perfect. All these instruments. And I look at him and I said, "Chip, you told me you played at a little place up the road. Where did you play last night?" "Oh, well, it's a Coliseum or whatever the hell it is in Pensacola." You know who he is? He goes, "Oh, Ron, I own Mannheim Steamroller."
Oh, my Lord.
Chip Davis lives in Nebraska in a ranch. And kids should know, kids should be part of your education too. I catch a lot of crap from my family because they say, "Hey, Dad, you'll talk to a tree." I go up and say, "Hi, how you doing? What do you do? What's your life?"
It's so funny you say that.
Yeah.
I really envy young people. I see their faces, and their future is so bright in dentistry. Mm-hmm. But I tell them, you have to get out, and you have to go to meetings. Mm-hmm. You don't know who's going to be sitting next to you that can change your life. You can't sit in your basement and Zoom meetings and sit on your phone.
Yeah.
You got to talk to people.
Yeah.
And they can change your life. You never know who you're going to meet at some point where, "Hey, Tim, do this," or "Hey, Ron, you want to do this?" Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden your life takes a 90-degree turn. Right. So you have to get out. You have to be friendly. We're all the same. We're all just people.
Exactly.
So laugh.
Yeah, have a
good time every day. We forget where we come from.
Yeah, we really do, don't we?
We came from Redford.
Yeah,
and we turned out okay.
Yeah. And with good parents, and they taught you the golden rule. Yep. And that's a big golden rule people kind of forget about a little sometimes, right?
Yeah. Just treat people like you want to be treated.
Yeah.
My practice. I try to treat everybody like a family member.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. We fight with family all the time, right?
Yeah,
Family drives us crazy. But if I had to live with you every day, I don't want to hear you complaining about what I did. I want you to be happy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so that should be our goal.
Yeah.
Not collecting money. The end result is all that really matters.
Yeah. Well, it's your reputation too, right, Tim?
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah.
It's important.
You
It's what we do.
protect that.
It's what you do.
Yeah, I was talking about traveling. I did 40,000 miles a year traveling and traveled through 46 states as a national sales manager.
I flew 117,000 miles so far this year.
This year?
This year, 61 flights.
And
crazy.
and you're still enjoying your...
I don't enjoy the traveling. I enjoy the teaching.
Yeah.
I really enjoy the teaching. Yeah, it makes it all worthwhile. Once I'm there, you turn it on, it's great.
You enjoy that more than your practice, would you say?
No,
About
like
the
I
same?
said, I think I have a great balance. We have a great team. They make me look really good. We have a lot of fun, a lot of laughs in the office. We become very close to our patients. When we're in the office, we work really, really hard. But when we're done, we're done. And I'm fortunate to be able to go out where people say nice things about me. I don't always get that at home anymore. So it's nice to go out and give back to society. Like I'm making a difference.
Yeah,
I really am. I'm making a difference.
Yeah,
It's a good feeling.
Oh yeah.
Not very many people can say that.
No, and you gotta put yourself out there. And I was looking at a book today in the store, and one of the things in the book, it said, it was put yourself out there and do some things that nobody else does, or people are afraid to do.
Yeah.
I remember going out in sales. I was in Akron, Ohio, because we transferred from Southfield. We still owned our home up in Nienberg, but we rented down in Ohio, North Olmsted. And I was 26, 27, had 2 kids. Laura, the youngest, wasn't born yet. And one of the managers wanted me to do a seminar and in front of like 8 people. And it was a situation where I had done 0 public speaking. And I said, no, I'm not doing it. He said, Ron, you've been inside sales for 2 years. You know 30 times more than anyone else will know that's going to be at this seminar. And I was afraid to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
And you didn't? Or did you?
No, I had to do it.
Oh, you did it. Okay.
I was scared shitless.
Yeah.
I mean, I had red face like as a kid, and I was nervous, and it was, I did it. I did it. I mean, that was...
And everybody starts somewhere. Nobody's an expert in the very beginning.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
We all
remember
have to start somewhere.
we work at Michelle's dad's gun shop in Detroit. We nickel-plated handguns for Detroit Cop and blew them and gold-plated them and stuff. And I remember a spring flew off here or this, and I'm working on a handgun, and I can't find it. And I'm back there like beating myself up. Oh my God, oh my God. And he like puts his hand on my shoulder. He was the ultimate teacher. Michelle's dad was like her, very kind. He says, son, he goes, when was the last time you were taught or knew how to put that gun together? I said, well, never. He said, then just calm down. I mean, Tim, I had a pretty aggressive, still am pretty aggressive, but at the time had a pretty big temper. Yeah. German, Irish, and But now I could put a Smith & Wesson together, or Colt, in like my sleep, because you did it so much.
Exactly.
But you don't know what you don't know.
Right. In my lectures, I stole this off the internet. It's a turtle, a big old turtle on a fence post. Mm-hmm. And my comment to my audience is always, how do you think that turtle got on the fence post? And everybody just stares at you, and I go, I guarantee you that turtle did not get on that fence post by itself. It needed help.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Right.
I'm here to lift you up. Yeah. So let's go.
Yeah.
And that's how we begin my program. Mm-hmm. And that's important. Just letting people know that I'm nothing special. I'm just a guy in Detroit that has a lot of experience. So here's what I know. Mm-hmm. Here's my recipe. I'm going to show you how to make my chocolate cake. You want to make my chocolate cake? Here's exactly what you got to do. Yeah. Now, most of you here are going to change it, so it's not my chocolate cake anymore. It's yours. Yours might be better, but if you want to know how I make you want my success? Yeah. Here. And I don't think a lot of people share that anymore. We're very selfish in society.
Well, it's a pretty humble attitude too, which is great. I mean,
why not?
Yeah, I think we need to be that. I like to check myself on that all the time, because
good idea.
How do you mean that?
No, just kidding.
No, it's funny though. It really is something. The humbleness is something that everybody needs, because you start thinking you're bigger and better than you really are, and it's all by the grace of God. Whatever you've got is right.
Success is making somebody else look good.
I've told a few people we were doing this, and you were with Jeremy for a minute today. He's a good kid,
Good kid, yeah.
He said to me, I said, "What would you ask Tim?" And he said, "Do you have any Detroit Red Wings stories that you can tell?"
We have a lot of Detroit Red Wings stories. We're the alumni dentists for the Red Wings, the old timers. So we see a lot of them in the office. I won't mention any names, but they're all such good people. Nick Lindstrom lived down the street during the heyday. His family and Annika and the kids, the boys, were at our house all the time.
Really?
I remember making sandwiches for my kids where you cut the crust off. You have the crust cutter, peanut butter and jelly. And I remember his son says, Mr. Kosinski, will you make me lunch tomorrow? And I go, sure, but they always felt comfortable. Our house was always where, they would come in and they could open the fridge and get a soda by themselves. They don't have to ask, that's comfort.
Yeah.
Or I know Annika wouldn't let him eat a lot of candy, but there was always chocolate. they always grab one. We were there during the heyday. We had great seats. Working with the alumni, using the alumni room. When I had doctors, when I hosted doctors in the town, that was always a big deal. To be able to go to Joe Louis. Yeah. Our seats were first row behind the visitors bench, so they were not the best seats to see a game, but they were cool. You saw everybody spit and scratch and yell and scream, and it was an exciting time.
With C.V. Eisenmer and McCarty and all those great players.
All those great ones. Yeah. So. A lot of Red Wings lived in our neighborhood, during the heyday, So.
Yeah. Peter Janopoulos was friends. I ran into one of their goalies. Oh, God, I'm trying to remember. It wasn't Hasek, but he had a bunch of concussions. That's a tough sport, you know.
Sure is. Yeah.
In Catholic Central, you've been involved with the priests, and as far as their dental and faculty.
My two boys graduated. TJ graduated from the Redford school, not the original one, but the second one, and then they moved out to Novi.
The one on Breakfast Drive in Redford?
Yeah. So TJ was the last class there, and then Brandon graduated at the new school. Obviously, that's changed so much. So I remember going in there. And TJ's counselor at the time, and student parent teacher conference or whatever, and he says, Dr. Kosinski, I'm TJ's counselor and one of the priests, and TJ said that you don't charge priests. I said, Father, you can come see me anytime. They're so blessed. They don't have a lot, so we treated a lot of priests over the years, and we still do. Yeah, so it's fun to give back. And I made mouth guards for all the sports teams for years at CC. Until we got it became more sophisticated. So all important stuff. So you give back a little bit.
Yeah.
My staff would go out with me, and we'd go have a nice dinner somewhere, and it was an outing. You have to give back to your community.
You're right. It's and you get more back than they do.
100%. Absolutely.
Isn't it?
That's a great comment. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So you spend some time, and I tried to get with you when we were at a wedding in Harbor Springs a couple weeks back. You were out of town, and you like that Petoskey, Harbor Springs?
Yeah, we've had a place there for a long time, Rod. That's my therapy area. We have a really nice house with some property, so it's very private. The kids kind of grew up there. We rented up there first, and then Barbara would take the kids when they were little. A week after school ended, and she'd come back home a week before school started. So they kind of grew up there in the summer times, and I would travel back and forth.
Nice.
you know, it's my therapy. Even if I just go for a couple days, I can wind down.
You don't go in the winter time though.
Oh yeah, the house is open all year round.
Oh,
yep.
Is it? Okay, yeah.
Jessica was captain of the ski team at Mercy for 2 years, and the Brandon, my youngest, skied. But TJ, once he went on snowboarding, he never went back to skiing. So we're right by Nubs Knob and Boyne Highlands, so it's real close. It's just a heaven. It's a piece of heaven.
It's really nice up there. It really is.
I practiced up there for over 30 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Where? What town?
Right in Harbor Springs. Mike Pierce was a dear friend, and I would drive up once a month and do his surgery for him. And then I also did, for 8 years, I would drive up to Traverse City and do surgeries for a friend of mine, Steve Kozelko, and Frank Regani. I would drive up and just do surgery and then drive back.
Did you have any relationship with Schumacher Zidane ever? I mean, that was a dental lab. Tim, I worked there for 7 years.
You know, in dental school, I think that's the lab that we used in the dental school. But you know, after I got back from my residency, I didn't.
We're at 12 and Orchard Lake. That was a fun little spot there too for years. Bosco's was there and some other places, but. Yeah, I was a dental.
What'd you do there? What'd you do at Schumacher?
I did the partials and full denture.
Wow.
Yeah, did a lot of.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, right. For 7 years, it was kind of cool because Jerry Zidane was a tough guy. I'm still friends with Schumacher up north. Kurt is his name. But Jerry he's passed away since, but well, you know how some of them are. I mean, everything has to be perfect, right? And so the nicest thing he ever said to me, though, was I thought he didn't like me. He pulled me aside at one point. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was trying to get me to leave. He said to me, he goes, hey, Ron, he says, Ron, you're making as much money as you can. He goes, is your name Schumacher Zidane? You see my nephew over there, and you see my son Jerry Jerry Jr. over there, and you see all the Schumacher Zidanes. He says, you're not going to do well here. So it was great advice. I got out into sales and become a national sales manager, and then ultimately as a manufacturer's rep. And again, relationships everywhere.
You never know. It's funny that you say that.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be a dentist. I was in the PhD program at Wayne State's medical school.
Oh.
And hardest year of school I ever had. And my mentor, Serge Vinogradov, we went out one night. He goes, let's go get a beer and a burger at one of the places downtown. And he says, Tim, he goes, you know, he complimented me like you were. And he said, you know, Wayne State's a great school, but it's a secondary institution, always will be. I get a lot of grant money, but it all goes to the university. My patents are in the university's hands, and I have to beg for money. You know, why don't you consider professional? I never considered dentistry, ever, Ron. Never even, it was out of my, but I think because my dad was a carpenter, I applied to dental school and got accepted. Go figure that one out.
Yeah.
And then it started, you know, and I found my niche in life. You know, personality and good hands and you know, clinical skills and some science behind me.
But you were always a good student, Tim. I mean.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess, yeah.
Tim, any thoughts wrapping it up really right now?
You know, I think this was awesome. Number one, I appreciate what you're doing and our friendship, renewed friendship, and all the classmates that are coming back. It's kind of funny, you know, trying to reconnect. And I think, I don't know how you feel, but it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Two of my oldest friends from college, my two best friends in college, I was in their wedding. I try to see them as much as possible. I do a lot of calling when I'm on the road and connecting. Don't forget to connect. With the past.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It helps the future. It makes you feel good. Yeah.
Those are great things.
Good
well,
times.
I got one thing, a surprise for you.
All right.
This is kind of what we do, Tim.
All right.
Now you're gonna have to grade. I was doing these. This is about number 6 or 7. And now the pattern is you're going to have, on a 1 to 10, you're going to have to let me know.
You made these, obviously.
Yes, sir. Jess pickles.
And tell me about them.
They're garlic dill. We've been making them for 20 years. We get the we only get those pickles when you snap them, and you're not going to get a sloppy pickle from the Jesses.
That is really good. Wow. Really good. Okay. This is mine, right?
Yeah, that's yours, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can eat them all right now if you'd like.
My wife's not here, so no kissing her tonight, huh?
There's some garlic. What do you think, Tim?
Awesome.
Okay, 1 to 10, give me a 9. Well, no, I'm not going to. The 9 something.
Better than any store-bought one, for sure.
Yeah, there's no preservatives other than the salt.
I mean, really good, really good.
Yeah.
Really good, really good. Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the gift.
You're welcome.
Hold on, we need a number.
Yeah, 9.
You're pushing 9, so maybe I
keep
should.
going. Well, no, I mean, I don't know what I'm
0 to
saying.
10. Is that what we're doing?
We're
0
doing
to 10?
0 to 10. Something.
You know,
point what?
I would say like a Clausen's or one of the Coney places. I'm going to say those are 5 and 6s.
Yeah.
You know, they're good. That's their go-to.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a 9.5.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like really good.
That's great. Last thing, charities that you wanted to talk about. You mentioned them. I forgot. You mentioned 2 that you liked, Tim.
Well, you know, my dad was funny. You know, he was Polish, and he believed in giving back.
Yeah.
But he hated when he was asked to give money. He goes, my dad would say, "What do you need?"
Yeah.
And I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, he wanted that control.
Yeah.
You know, like the fountain.
Yeah.
He did the fountain in front of St. Agatha.
Oh,
I don't know
he
if you
did?
do that.
No, I
yeah.
didn't. I not
Okay,
know
yeah, he
that,
didn't talk about it. I still have the plaque right in our garden here of the donation of the fountain.
That's great.
That Father gave us.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my church is very important, Our Lady of Victory.
That's right.
You know,
I had forgot you said that.
in
I was.
Northville.
That's all. I'm not pushing. Yeah.
No. I mean, that's important
to
to me, and my dental school is really important.
Yeah.
When I was a sophomore, Ron, real quick, I was pulled out of class. Mr. Holben wants to see you. It's like, you know, ooh, everybody goes, ooh. And a dentist had died, Mr. John Anos. This is 1982. I mean, that's a long time ago that I remember this. And he had passed away and left a scholarship for somebody who had personality and clinical skills, and I don't remember the attributes that he had. And he handed me a check for $2,000. You know how much $2,000 was in 1982?
Yeah.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Thank you.
So, you know, helping the students that are in need, you know, not everybody's, dental school is very expensive. So those are the 2 things that I try to commit to. Those, they're important to me.
That's great.